they win the NFC South.
Football is officially back. Week 1, Bucks, Commanders, 425 in Tampa. Let's get into it. If you saw my previous video, we did a deep dive into the Commanders' depth chart, offense and defense, what are their strengths and weaknesses. So now we're kind of carrying that over into the preview, and now we're bringing the Bucks into it. The Bucks' strengths and weaknesses, what the Bucks need to do to win this game, the keys. The keys. Getting right into it, number 1, for this Bucks defense, containing Jayden Daniels. That's number 1. You cannot let Jayden Daniels, rookie quarterback, first game in the NFL ever, go out there and beat you by what he does best. We know what he does best. Everyone knows what he does best. That guy can run the ball like no other. In the SEC last season, as a quarterback, he had over 1,000 yards rushing. That's insane. You cannot let him beat you that way. Defensive ends or outside linebackers, Yaya Diaby, Braswell, Joe Tryon-Schwinka, huge part of this game is on your back. It was one of the weak spots last year, was this outside linebacker position for the Buccaneers. Huge responsibility for this group that was, kind of a weakness last year. One of the biggest weaknesses on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. Discipline. Contain. Stay parallel to Jayden Daniels. Don't run behind him, which gives him open space in front of him. Make him stay in the pocket and force him to win this game by trying to throw to someone not named Terry McLaurin. Because if you look at this depth chart at wide receiver outside of Terry McLaurin, their wide receiver 2 on their depth chart, Olamide Zaccheaus, wide receiver 3, Noah Brown, and then you're starting to get into rookies, De'Ami Brown. It's rough. It is rough out wide. So force Daniels to throw to these guys who are not really and truly playmakers. Other than Terry McLaurin, the Bucs will have an eye on Terry McLaurin. They know that that's their guy. He's the number 1 target. That's their guy. Outside of that, force Daniels to beat you that way. Zone up. They'll probably throw in man here and there, strategically, carefully, because you can't play man the entire game against a running quarterback. It's just common knowledge, common sense. You got to be looking at Jayden Daniels, because if he takes off, you got to take off after him. If you're playing man and your back is turned, we've seen it. Bucs are historically bad against rookie quarterbacks. I'm glad we're getting Jayden Daniels in game 1. We know what happened last year against CJ Stroud later on in the season when we played the Texans. So, like I said, happy we're getting him in week 1. Just make him uncomfortable. Make him extremely uncomfortable. So that's why I'm saying strategically, man, blitz, but primarily you're going to see the Buccaneers playing zone so that they can keep their eyes on Jayden Daniels, the man in front of him, and the man that this offense is going to rely upon. They have good running backs, but they don't have just hand it off like all game long type running backs. They don't have a prime Derrick Henry. Stopping the run will be a big deal. Brian Robinson Jr., an extremely underrated running back in the NFL. And then Austin Eckler, which is a perfect combination to pair with Brian Robinson Jr., who's more of a bruiser, running downhill, just tiring out linebackers and defensive linemen throughout the game. That's the type of guy he is. Austin Eckler, pass catcher, smart, runs through the holes, patient. Perfect pairing right there. I really like that for their offense. Austin Eckler, obviously not quite in his prime anymore, but still a good running back. And if he's playing a third down situational role for them, I really like that for them. So the Bucs know this is a solid backfield. And usually the Bucs, they took a little bit of a step back last year, but Todd Bowles' Bucs defenses historically have been very good against the run. So hopefully they can really get back to that this year with a healthy Kalijah Kancey and a new look Vita Vea. And then also KJ Britt, full-on starter now, very good against the run. Levante David, don't even need to speak on anything there. And I kind of like this as like a ramp-up game for this sort of new look secondary. Zion McCollum obviously now in his first season as, the true name starter. You get what I'm saying. This receiving core, like I said, probably bottom 5 in the NFL. So Zion McCollum, Jamel Dean, that pairing, being able to get their feet wet at home, you're really just, I'm not saying underestimate the rest of the guys, but Terry McLaurin is that guy. The rest of the guys are, they're role players. So I would hope that these two guys, the Bucs starting corners, can handle their business. And behind them, you got Antoine Winfield Jr. and just different guys at nickel, Izzian, Tyke Smith, Jordan Whitehead coming down, laying the boom. There will be some loud cracks. I'm feeling this game between Brian Robinson Jr. and Jordan Whitehead. Brian Robinson Jr., the way he comes downhill, Jordan Whitehead, the way he comes downhill, that's going to be, that'll be a clash. So outside of just superstition and the Bucs, often being pretty not up to par against rookie quarterbacks, I feel good about this defense going into this game week 1. As for the offense, I'm ready to see this run game in full action. Let me see what we're going with. And you got a huge test against the Washington Commanders with Darren Payne and Jonathan Allen. In the middle there for that Commanders defense, probably top 5 pairing when you look at interior defensive linemen. Those two, both beasts. True test from the start to see what this new look run game, Liam Cohen offense, new look interior offensive line, Graham Barton first round pick, Ben Bredesen left guard, right guard Cody Mock, second year in the NFL, adding some weight. What does this look like? And I have a feeling, even though they're playing one of the top pairings in the NFL, it'll be an improvement over last season. And that's truly what we're looking for. And we're looking for it to improve all season long as Liam Cohen continues to implement more, get more creative. And how do they use Rashad White and Bucky Irving? And if they even throw Sean Tucker in there, what does it all look like? That's one of the things I'm most excited to see this game. Because, boy, that run game last year, I just want to forget about it. That would be amazing if the Bucs can just go out there, Rashad White have a 100-yard rushing game, touchdown, Bucky Irving show some flashes. It just looks aesthetically pleasing, good, getting 4 yards a pop. And I can just forget about last year. That'd be beautiful. But how I think it's going to go game plan-wise, that defensive line for the Commanders, solid, really solid interior. And then behind them, they have Bobby Wagner. Not the guy he once was, but still solid linebacker, tons of experience. The secondary, very weak. Just like the wide receiver core on offense for the Commanders. Very weak. Offensive line, defensive line, solid. Linebacker, running back, solid. But out wide on both sides of the ball. That's what you attack. It's what you attack. Their starting corners, Benjamin St-Juste, Mike Sainristil, Michael Davis, Emmanuel Forbes, their first-round pick last year, who had a terrible year in his first season last season. Not a single guy can compete with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, throw in Jalen McMillan, throw in Trey Palmer. The run, I want to see what it looks like, and I'm excited for it, but it's truly going to be to set up the pass in this game, in my opinion, because that's what you need to attack. Absolutely. Baker Mayfield should have a big day, because it's not good. It's not good, and I'm just being honest here. I gave the Commanders their props on defensive line, linebacker. Didn't mention Frankie Louvu. We know about him from his time with Carolina Panthers, but secondary, I'm sorry, it's just not good. And the Bucs can absolutely attack that. Target that. Let's air that thing out. Week 1 at Ray J. So prediction time. I'm going to predict. Let me just get this out of the way. I'm never going to predict the Bucs to lose. It's just not happening. It's not happening. You can read my context clues as I'm previewing a game. So like when they play the Chiefs, I'll probably talk a lot about the Chiefs' strengths, and like the Bucs are going to have to do a lot of things to win this game but I'll always predict them to win the game. I'm just sorry. That's just me. I'm kind of superstitious. Like, I'd never pick my team to lose. I'm okay if I'm wrong, but I'm not going to pick them to lose. I'm just not. So, read between the lines the rest of the video, and I think in this video, it actually lines up. 27-17 is going to be my final score. I think the offense comes out slower. Not as slow as last season against the Vikings. That was a rough first half. Not that slow. I think the Bucs maybe have just 10 points in the first half, but then second half they ramp it up. Throughout that first half, hopefully being able to establish a bit of the run, make the Commanders have to respect it. Mike Evans deep ball maybe, some play action, some motion. Show us this creativity that we've been hearing about all season long from this Liam Cohen offense. Let's see it. Let's see it. The Washington Commanders, they have a whole bunch of new stuff coming too. So their fans are going to be excited about that. New offensive and defensive coordinator and head coach. New quarterback. A lot of stuff. A lot of new things. And not a lot of tape. All you got to rely on is what these coaches have done in the past with their previous teams. And what Jaden Daniels put on tape in college. So, a lot of unknowns from game planning aspect, but it should be a Bucs win. It should be. They're favored to win. They're at home. They were the better team last year. They brought back everyone, added more pieces to fill in the holes that they did have last season. This should be a Bucs win. So, 27-17, that's my prediction. Let me know down in the comments what your prediction is for this game. Go Bucs. Next time I see you guys, we're going to be recapping this game, and that just makes me happy, makes me excited. Couple more sleeps, guys. Couple more sleeps. Y'all have a blessed one.